Good morning, IED, and welcome to the first part of the Puzzle Cube project. In this video, I'm going to be showing you some of the basics that we've covered in class, and then we will put together 5 pieces. So if you have your puzzle cube or a picture of your puzzle cube, you are more than welcome to use that. However, if you don't, I also encourage that you just go online to Puzzle Cube project on Google or something, and then in the images, you can actually find a Puzzle Cube project that you want to base yours off of. So go ahead, find one, select one, or use the one you have. But once you have that, decide on a piece you want to make and start making it. So for example, feel free to follow along with me, but I'm going to make this orange piece here. If we look at it, it's got a nice C shape to it, and then one that's kind of protruding like that. Inside of Autodesk Inventor, you'll be greeted with one of multiple screens, but pretty much you want to get to a new part file. So you can either do new here and new, or go to file, new, or there might even be an option over here where you're able to select part. But regardless of whichever route you take, you want to make sure that you are on the parts section, and then you want to go to standard.ipt. So I'm going to go ahead, double click on that, and that's going to open up a standard part file. The other files, which we'll talk about later, is this for sheet metal, which we don't use in this class. These are assembly files here, which means you assemble something, so you're putting things together. These are drawing files, which are having to do with sketches. So when we're adding sketches or drawings, we'll be using these types of files. And then this is a presentation. It's when you essentially explode a view or when you animate something. So we're starting at the very beginning, the standard.ipt. So inside your Inventor file, we need to start by creating a sketch. And you always have two options. You have a Start 2D sketch and a Start 3D sketch. In this class, we're going to be sticking with the Start 2D sketch option, which should be set by default, but sometimes it switches around. So just kind of keep an eye on which one is currently active, and then click on that button, and it will greet you with 3 different planes. Your XY plane, your YZ plane, and your XZ plane. For the most part, it doesn't matter which one you click on, but I typically click on this one over here. So it's up to you. I'm going to click on this, and once you do that, it's going to rotate your screen slightly, and you are now in sketch mode. Anything you draw in sketch mode is part of a sketch, and you can extrude it out, and that just means you can make it 3-dimensional. Now there are a few rules to that, and we'll get to those, but let's go ahead and draw out that orange piece. So I'm going to start by drawing out the basic view of it with just lines. So I'm going to select the line tool, and I'm going to draw down. Now you might notice that Inventor is trying to be helpful here, and it's helping me draw a vertical line. And then when I'm trying to draw it horizontally, if you get at the right angle, you can see it's trying to help me out by drawing vertical lines and perpendicular lines. The dimensions don't really matter at this point because we're going to dimension this right after. But go ahead and try to draw it as closely as possible as you can. Okay? Notice when I'm going to the very end here, my dot, which is currently yellow, is going to switch to green. It's very important that it switches to green because if not, there might be an opening there and then it will not extrude. Okay, so I clicked it over there, and then I've completed the shape. To exit out of that line tool, I press escape twice. And that's my key for escaping out of most things. If you ever got something weird with your mouse going on and you don't know what's going on, just press escape twice and you'll break out of it. Okay, now that we have the part, let's talk about some general mouse movements. The middle scroll wheel of the mouse is the most important thing for moving your screen around. For example, I could zoom in and out by rolling that middle scroll wheel of my mouse. If I point at something, without clicking of course, I can zoom in and out on that point. Okay? I can also hold in the middle scroll wheel of the mouse to move my screen left or right, up or down, etc., etc. So I'm holding in that middle scroll wheel. And I can hold down Shift on the keyboard, click in and hold the middle scroll wheel of the mouse, and I can rotate my screen like so. So you can see by holding those two things, I can move my mouse and rotate. We have a view cube up here, and we use the view cube for repositioning. Do not use the view cube to try to turn your shape. it's just kind of like not a good way to approach it. But if I want to look back at the front of this, you know, and I'm here, I can click on front and it will reposition me. Okay, let's add some dimensions. From earlier in this project, we mentioned that each puzzle cube is 3/4 of an inch. So I'm going to go to dimension up here. I'm going to click on a line and I'm going to then drag it down, but not really drag, kind of like hover. I'm not really holding the click of the mouse. Click down once and then type in 0.75, enter. You'll see right away it expanded everything. That's fine. I'm going to zoom out with that mouse scroll wheel so I could see it like that. Alternatively, we could have dimensioned like this. I could have clicked on this side and then gone to the other side, clicked it, and then hovered down. And that would also give me the same kind of dimension tool. So I'm going to click there, and instead of 0.75, I could even do something like 3 divided by 4. And Inventor will automatically understand what I'm trying to do. For this line over here, I'm going to click with that dimension tool and put it down. It's 3 puzzle cube pieces, but I'm really bad at math, let's say. So I could go 0.75 and then do times 3, like that, and Inventor will automatically solve it for me. So it's pretty versatile, pretty useful. So I'm going to put that dimension down, 0.75, and then this dimension here as well, which will be 1.5, or 2 puzzle cube pieces. So I have all my dimensions in place. This piece is ready to go. If you're ever unsure if you're missing a dimension, just, you know, think about, does anything look weird? And if you're in my class, you can just ask me and I'll tell you. But let's go ahead and finish the sketch. So right now we just closed out that sketch by clicking that button there. If you realize you did something wrong, don't worry about it. Just go back to the sketch. So you'll notice it's right here, my sketch 1. It even lights up the sketch. And you could double click on it really fast and you'll get back into that sketch mode and you finish sketch. It's very important that you don't panic and go to Start 2D Sketch like that, and then click on your sketch again. Because if you look here, what you've done is you've created 2 sketches, and sketch 2 is completely independent from sketch 1. So if I'm trying to select things or delete things, it won't let you. So I'm going to finish sketch 2, and I don't want sketch 2 there, so I'm going to right click and delete it. So I'm just have my sketch 1. And I'm going to go to Extrude. I'm going to click on that shape, or sometimes it'll do it automatically for you. And then I'm going to specify the extrusion amount, which in this case is 0.75. So 0.75 and then OK. I do want to point out that you can still move just like you could that sketch. Left and right, hold down Shift and rotate it as well. OK, on the back of this piece, we have this one portion protruding out like that. So let's go ahead and add that to the mix. I'm going to spin it to this side, and I'm going to start a 2D sketch. And don't worry, because now that we have this extruded, it's not going to take us to our planes. But I'm going to start a 2D sketch on a flat surface, and in this case, this flat surface. And you could draw on anything that's flat. So I'm going to click on there. And to draw out this puzzle cube piece, I'm going to use the rectangle tool. And I'm going to start at that corner. So you see how that corner went green? I'm going to click. And I'm going to drag it over to this corner over here. See how that went green? And I'm going to click. So because I know each of these are 0.75, if you did it like that, you're good. It's one puzzle cube. Otherwise, you could use the dimension tool and you could dimension each component. Now, if I try to click OK there, it won't let me because since I used the corners, it was very specific on that being a singular puzzle cube piece. But anyway, I'm going to finish the sketch. I'm going to go to Extrude. And then I can click on that piece, or it might do it automatically. That's 0.75, so I'm going to press OK, and there you go. That's the puzzle cube piece. So what we did in class then is I dismissed everyone to go ahead and create their 5 puzzle cube pieces. So you're going to need 5 separate part files, and you need to create each individual piece and then save it and then move on to the next piece and then save it. And just make sure that wherever you're saving it to, you're saving it to somewhere where you'll be able to find it later. So don't just hit save and not really care where it's going. You have to know where those files are, because if you don't, you won't be able to combine them all in the next part. Okay, hopefully you found this video tutorial useful. If you have any questions, let me know. This is Mr. Z. signing out. Peace.